Testing, testing, testing. Are we live? Are we live? Let's get this thing on. Test. Think we're on. Hello, test, test. Test, test, hello. How fez is so round. Okay, now we're live. One good thing about these daily videos is I'm reminded how fat I am. I had to lose. Let's get my gym regimen going again. Anyway, what time is it? It's just about 5:45 p.m. and I'm going to do another push on this JavaScript project. Do I have everything still open? Looks like I do. Let me see. Let me switch screens here. Is this the right screen? This is the logging review. I wanted to put this. Oh, I copied all these notes to the wiki, I think. Let me just make sure that really, it really happened. I didn't dream it. Play wiki. I called it. What did I call it? Playback. Yeah, there's the notes. So I don't need to have these notes anymore. Wait a moment. Not this one, and here. Don't need that anymore. Don't need this. Didn't want to quit the entire project. Alright, so let's make our things to do. Now, according to my quiver, I wrote down stuff before I took a break. Write a test file that based on our Unisys record stat message. So what does that really mean? What we want to do... well, this is where we start writing our pseudocode. What are we saving? Display list data. How are we saving it? There's already a call for that. It's, need to outline this. I believe that is part of playlist display list, playback display list. And there is a call called render and capture. Okay. First, use display list capture to grab a display list data structure. That's what this returns. And this is just pure data. I think so. To grab, I think it's called display data now. Object. Then I believe in particles, in the default particles game, currently we have the notion, I think, of a sampler. Display get. I actually want to put these messages into, I think, the display lists manager. But I don't have the ability to multi-register. So it's for the messages, we have display get, which is return gets a what? I think it looks like it just dumps data of please display data packet. Where am I documenting these things? Display data looks like I don't remember what it looks. Did we have a reference at the top? I did not. Display data. It has the visuals. Is an array. Display data. Visuals is an array of visual items. I think I push it onto the vlist. Items. Let's call this. Maybe I should make some sort of class that does this. All right, now I'll just outline it. Visual items. What the hell? 1, 2, 3. Visual items has what? There's some common ones. ID, rpass, type, position, rotation, opacity, source file, repeat, offset, scale, zoom, frac width, frac height. These are for sprites. Type sprite. One, two, three, four. It's weird. Have a spacing brain fart. Sprites. And then we have meshes. Oops. Meshes. And we have for meshes subtype, position, rotation, opacity, scale, visible. Meshes marker. Why is viz name here? Is that passed? Viz is equal to visuals j. No, this is just checking. Okay. Subtype. I think this is subtype generic. So this is subtyped marker. Now we have radius, color, dashed line. We're only pushing. These are really these are the only types that we have right now. Structures. So then when we want to write we want to write to the log, we want to write a time-stamped chunk of data. So what would that format be? Let's call it capture frame or frame capture, log data, log item. We have the concept of a recorded event stream. So a recorded event stream, what have those been traditionally called in the past? P-track uses the terminology tracks and frames, I think. Let's see what P-track uses. I think we have frame tracks. Okay, each frame has a number of tracks. No, this is actually the packet. I'm just calling it frame here. So every time something comes in here, let's see. I want to call it it's a kind of event. Playback event. Sim event. Not exactly a sim, it's let's call it a recorded event. And our recorded event will have a timestamp, sec, and sec. This will be filled by server on record. And then we have I guess we just need to have the data. Maybe it's just everything else. Data. This can be just arbitrary data. Arbitrary data pack. Data object that will be JSONified. I suppose we also want to have the type of it. Type. So we can have display, notate, ptrack, enumerated type. Okay, so data, the JSON file. So this all will get logged. And then when we're playing back, what's happening when we're playing back? The server will start spooling out data based on the timestamp. And I guess it just re-emits it. And that's another way of looking at recorded event is recorded event is timestamp sec nsec filled by server on record, and then we have the message and then the data, and this would be, you know, e.g. Display, what do they call it? Display data. And this would be more Unisys friendly. Let's call this a Unisys event. Or a sim event. What do they call it again? Display. Recorded event. It says message. Unisys data packet. That would be consistent with the way we're doing it, I think. Sec and sec. Then over here, this is a string. Data, this is an object. When we're playing back, it will play back the Unisys messages. Now, will it know, though, it needs to know time stop, and it needs to know whether it's what style of call it was. Huh. So there are some cases in which you're getting acknowledgements back. Do we want to capture all the events or some of them? So there is a logged event. So I'm thinking of the case in which you have like a round trip. Do we want to update? We don't want to update all the UI as it's going, I don't think. Maybe post a question in the Slack. Just confirming. Just to confirm. Just to confirm. And the playback does not need to automate actual UI controls or UI messages, but just to play back the visual data and annotations that were recorded. So if that's the case, then we don't need to worry about any subtypes, but we can expand this protocol later. So we have a recorded event. Okay. How are we saving the display list data? We emit a display data event to the server. Oh, it's not actually called that, is it? It's called, it's under M broadcast, I think. It just does a Unisys call server record display data. So how do we record the display data? I think what we do is if there is a record session active, then grab the data from through her record. Do I want to use call or do I want to use service? Server, I think I'm doing this wrong. I think actually I should be using a different Unisys call. I want to do direct call, broadcast, network dispatcher, and I guess it's all the same. I'm not making a distinction between server-based messages because I don't really want to care, don't really want to know where it is. Okay. Maybe it's a separate one that actually so what does Unisys call do? It forwards the message. Let's just take a look at this quick. It basically sends a new net message data with callback. Our net message, this is probably where we would want to extend our message protocol. So we have the idea, we have the notion of sequence number, sequence logs, acknowledgement logs. This handles all the messy transaction stuff. I don't even want to review how this works. This was tricky to write. But in a simple call, we are making a new net message. With the message data and a callback. Callback may be null. New net message. No, network send. I think network send is what has some special code to determine whether or not if there's a trans, it then makes a dictionary lookup. I'm not sure if this is I wonder if I can make this more direct. This is a pain in the butt to write. So do I want to actually new net message data, maybe when this gets sent, packet, does the packet get serialized? Get command, throw, packet queue transaction, command socket send, it does the JSON here, JSONifies the entire packet to data structure. So theoretically, I could include data that indicates that this is a saved call or it should be logged. So I want to be able to specify that certain Unisys calls are logged. But I don't want to do it all the time. That's the thing. So what would be a good way of doing that? So I guess I need to have something to check if there is some kind of session going on. Or if we're recording. How do I manage session start, end, playback, start, end? That's a good question. Because it could be a flag. Let's see. Maybe I do a Unisys begin session. Do I want all Unisys sessions? unisys end session. Maybe the parameters for here config is equal to array. It's like strings record. Messages, or let's see, messages is an array of string messages to save, to record, end session. Or maybe it's filter. Record messages. So something like that could work. And so if we, likewise, unisys, let's call it speak card recording, and recording. Message filter. And then for unisys, begin playback, config is equal to maybe all our session ID stuff. And then and playback explicitly stops at unisys pause. Playback stops the playback. We might have a unisys jump playback. Let's change the order. Let's record start, record end, playback start, playback. Let's call it start and stop. I can start, play, a stop, playback, pause, playback, jump, this is playback, timescale, let's play, call it set rate. And then there might be some other calls. So let's put some questions in front of this. So now that we have all this, how does Unisys know what to save? The answer to this is when record start is issued, special server command is sent to set some flags. The config.message filter contains the dictionary of messages to save. Although every time they do a lookup on that seems kind of sluggish. It might be better just to do it on the client side. I guess we can also have things like device filter too. Let's call it message filter. I'll just shorten this. Device filter. Various filters. Let's call this filter config. Session. Config. This is a fig. Something like that. Gonna check on the stove really briefly. Make sure nothing is burning. Making curry. That's what's powering my desire to keep going. This is looking good. 18 minutes to go on that. So let's implement this dictionary approach. It's not particularly efficient, but I don't think there's that many to check. And computers are fast enough, so this shouldn't be an issue. You know, the assembly language program in me is like crying though. But on the other hand, this is more expedient to just do it this way. We'll just hope that that the collections can keep up with it. I'm pretty sure it can. Okay. So let me see. So we need to, I guess the to-do list changes. Let's make our references. So what do we do here? We want to be able to start recording and end recording. So we want to implement a Unisys record start, Unisys record stop, Unisys playback start, and playback stop. And then these are kind of additional things that we can do. All right. What time is it now? It's I guess we're doing design here. I think that gives me an idea of where to start. So I need to expand Unisys to include the log control, or I make I probably should make some sort of back end for sending commands directly to the server. Like a back end channel. Unisys is the call mechanism. I probably should make a module for playback, which I think I started to do. Playback display list. Playback. Or we could just stuff it in Unisys. We can refactor it later. It is all tied up in Unisys after all. And I need to receive it on the Unisys side as well. Just to make things easy, I'm just going to incorporate this into Unisys on the client side. So what are we going to call it? Unisys API, Unisys call. Does seem impure though, doesn't it? Main call, try local call, direct call, network dispatcher, dispatch, register message, new sequence, call sequence, app ready. I guess we do have our logging in here. Playback and logging. Let's just put some dummy messages in here. We have, what do they call it? Record start. Sys. Record start. This function. And then we have this is recorded start, record stop. This is playback start, playback stop, sys record stop equals function sys playback start equals function oops, sys playback stop equals function let's change this playback logging. Oops. Some space in there. Those are the basic ones. Looks like, and then we have these other playback start and pause. After playback stop, we have playback pause, and we have playback jump, playback jump to, and playback set rate. Alright, and so then what we want to do is we want to be able to call these functions in here. Console group record start. Console group end. No, that's not a good way of doing it. Or is it? No, it's not. Info. That's a good symbol for record. This one's to show up a bit. Here's the record stop. So when this happens, what do we want to have? Unisys flag. This has to set up session with server, set a flag, Unisys, so send parameters. There's those, what he has, what do these call this, filter config. Using filter config. After this, all Unisys messages of referred to in filter config will be saved on saved the server. Send a Unisys message special Unisys message this is a server back channel. So a special unit to tell it that recording has stopped. I guess this can be asynchronous. But I'm wondering if it takes some time for the recording to stop, where then that will cause an asynchronous issue on the client side of things. But I won't worry about it now. So then playback starts. Oops. We want to do the same thing. Console info P playback start. Inf. On this side we want to do playback stop. And what we want to happen here is here there needs to be some sort of session config object. Using session config specify what to start playing back. We might actually want to break this out into something more like record session init. Start session. Reward. So what I'm thinking is, I guess For the playback, you might not want it to start playing back immediately. But maybe we'll see how it goes. I won't overcomplicate it right now until we actually hit a problem with it. So to start playing back using secret unisys call. Server will start emitting. The playback data. And suppress any messages that are coming in live. And for playback stop, tell server with secret unisys call to stop playing back. And for pause, and I'll just jump to this. So that's essentially what we wanted to do, I think. Okay, now I'm gonna finish cooking dinner. It is now it's 6:30. And so when I come back, I'll know where to pick up on this. So, I might not be able to pick up on this today. I guess it was kind of a short day code-wise. Only 2.5 hours, really. But I got a lot of other stuff done today that's not related to this, and I am starting to think about this. I will do another push after dinner, though. Let's see how that goes. So I'm going to eat dinner. I'll be back later. Hopefully.